At a high level, here's how the entire serverless pipeline works. Let me walk you through the flow. Starting with data ingestion, on the left we have raw CSV data that gets uploaded into an S3 raw bucket under a path like raw data. This blue box here represents storage. The raw bucket is append only. Data never gets overwritten or deleted. It's the immutable source of truth. Moving into discovery and cataloging, from there, the Glue crawler, this orange box, scans the raw S3 path. It automatically infers the schema from the CSV files and catalogs it into a Glue database called data_pipeline_db. That Glue database is just metadata living in AWS. The actual data is still in S3. The crawler creates a table in the database with all the columns from the CSV, like order_ID, customer_ID, quantity, price, order_date, but everything comes in as strings because that's all CSV has. Next, the Glue ETL job, this brown box called transform_data.py, reads from the Glue catalog table. It's a PySpark job that runs on managed Spark clusters, so there's no infrastructure to manage. Inside that job, we cast quantity and price from strings to numeric types, parse order_date into a standardized format, compute a derived field total_price as quantity times price, and write everything as partitioned Parquet into the process bucket. The Parquet is organized by order_date, which lets Athena prune data later and make queries faster. Then we have the process S3 bucket with Parquet files, and on top of that sits an Athena external table. This green box represents the query layer. Athena is a serverless SQL engine that queries data in S3 directly using the table definitions from the Glue database. Athena writes query results to a separate Athena results bucket, so the output is isolated and doesn't clutter the main datasets. Now, here's the part that makes this production ready. The yellow dashed box is at the top, an IAM role, data pipeline Glue role, grants Glue the permissions it needs to read from the raw bucket, write to the process bucket, and access the Glue database. A CloudFormation stack called Data Pipeline Stack orchestrates all of this, but we don't write CloudFormation directly. Instead, we use AWS CDK to define the infrastructure in Python. CDK generates the CloudFormation template and deploys everything with one command. And finally, GitHub Actions CI automatically validates the code and infrastructure. On every push, it lints the Glue scripts, runs tests, and runs CDK synth to make sure that the infrastructure is syntactically correct before it ever gets deployed. Now let's pull it all together. So the whole pipeline is raw CSV to S3 raw bucket, to Glue crawler discovers the schema, to Glue ETL job transform and writes Parquet, to Athena queries, to SQL analytics. And all of that is managed as code, version controlled in Git, and validated by CI. That's the serverless approach. No servers to manage, AWS handles scaling and availability, and you pay for only what you use, and everything is reproducible and auditable.